Kyril. Please ko chat ni Kyril kay tingalig wala ni siya nagkuan. Please ko chat ha sa inyong group. Okay. So the integration of sin x dx is just equal to the negative cosine x. Okay? Minus, so here class, dita kay direct ani kay this is not part of the basic integral. So, ang kani class is gamit pa ta og technique. So, since we have two techniques, so it's by parts and substitution. So, for this integral, we use substitution. So, we let u be equal to cosine squared x. Okay? I know. It's cosine x. And then our du here is negative sine x plus, it's dx. Okay, so we have here, so ang cosine x, so substitute na to ang u, and then copy the squared, and then ang sine x dx is equal to negative okay. So the du here is negative sine x dx. So sine x dx is negative du. So simplify, we have negative cosine x. So negative times negative, so we have positive. So we have u squared du. Then, so here, we can apply the power rule for integration. We have u to the n du is equal to u to the n plus 1 over n plus 1 plus c. Okay, so we have here negative cosine x plus, so our u is to the power of 2, so we have u to the 2 plus 1 over 2 plus 1 plus c. Okay, so this is equal to negative cosine x plus 1/3 u cubed plus c, in which we substitute the value of our u, so we have negative cosine x plus 1/3, and then our u is cosine, so we have cosine cube x plus c. And this is the final answer. Okay, so remember class ha, if ang n is an odd, so magkuha ra mong isa ka sin x, and then ang nahabilin kay i-convert into cosine. So if ang given kay cosine, so pagawas niyo ang isa ka cosine, ang mahabilin i-convert into sin squared x. Okay, question? Wala question? Okay. So please go screenshot class. Done?
Yes, miss.
Okay. So another is we have sine to the 5th x dx. Okay? So, same technique. So, ato siyang magkuha tag isa ka sin x. So, we have sin x dx. And then, ang mahabilin is we need to convert it to cosine. So, saan man siya? So, we have here, so pwede ni na to siya ma-write as sin squared x to the power of 2 sin x dx. Okay, in which we have a identity here. So cosine squared x plus sine squared x is equal to 1, in which our sine squared x is equal to 1 minus cosine squared x. Okay, so substitute the value. So we have 1 minus cosine squared x to the power of 2 sine x dx. Okay, may question? Okay. So now, ato na siya i-expand class ang 1 minus cosine squared x to the power of 2, which is equal to 1 minus 2 cosine squared x plus cosine to the fourth x sine x dx. So, ang gibuhat ra class ha is 1 minus cosine squared x times 1 minus cosine squared x. It's equal to 1 minus 2 cosine squared x plus cosine to the fourth x. Okay? So, now, let's distribute. So, we have here, so kung may shortcut ha, so we have integration of sine x dx minus 2 integration of cosine squared x sine x dx plus the integration of cosine to the fourth x sine x dx. So, naani siya sa first discussion nato nga property nga the integration of the sum or difference is equal to the sum or difference of the integral. Okay, and then we have a property also for the constant that the integration of a constant times a function x dx is equal to a constant integration of a function x, function of f of x dx. Now, here, so since this is part of the basic integral, so pwede rata maka-direct ano, so we have here integration of sine x dx is negative cosine x, so minus 2. So here, we let u be equal to cosine x. So our du here is negative sine x dx. Okay, so we have, we will use substitution for us to solve the integral. So cosine x is u, copy the power, and then sine x dx is negative du plus the integration of cosine x, so copy, so u to the fourth, and sine x dx is negative du by substitution. So we have plus c because nag-integrate na tayo. Okay? So we have negative cosine x minus 2. So here, this is plus. So, modit sa taha kay watay space. So we have integration of u to the n du is u to the n plus 1 over n plus 1 plus c. So this is the power rule for integration. So we have u cubed over 3. So here, this is negative because of the negative du. And then integration of u to the fourth is u to the fifth over 5 plus c. Okay, now we substitute the value of our u, which is cosine x. So we have negative cosine x plus 2/3. And then we have cosine cube x minus 1/5 cosine to the fifth x plus c. Okay, question? Okay, so what if a given kay sine to the 7th x? Okay, this is case 1 is applicable only for an add nga power. So same naghapon na process class, pero ang difference kay mo na siya sine squared x to the cube, which mas more complicated siya. So the more ang power, the more complicated ang computation. Okay, question? Okay, so why question? So please go screenshot. Done?
Done, miss.
Okay. So
Yes, miss.
practice. We have here the integration of cosine to the fifth x dx. Okay, so I will give you 10 minutes to solve this. So time check, it's, what's my time? 10 o'clock. So balik ta at 10:10. Done, students?
Yes, miss.
Sige. Please ko send sa ato ang group chat sa inyong computation. Okay. So the integration of cosine to the fifth x dx, so we have here 1 minus 2 sine x minus 2. Okay, so it's correct. Okay, so let's solve. So, start with G. So, magkuha tag isa ka cosine. So, we have cosine x dx. And then, so ang mahabilin, i-convert siya into sine. So, we have cosine to the fourth x. So, this is cosine squared x to the power of 2 cosine x dx. Okay? So, cosine squared x is equal to 1 minus sine squared x to the power of 2 cosine x dx. Okay? So, expand, so we have 1 minus 2 sine squared x plus sine to the fourth x cosine x dx. Okay, so we have here this is equal to the integration of cosine x dx minus 2 integration of sine squared x cosine x dx plus the integration of sine to the fourth x cosine x dx. Okay, so we let u be equal to sine x. Our du here is cosine x dx. Okay, so the integration of cosine x dx is equal to sine x minus 2. So we have here the sine squared x. So we will use substitution to solve this. So we have our u equal to sine x. So u squared, and then cosine x dx is du, plus the integration sine x, so this is our u, and then to the power of 4 cosine x dx is du plus c because nag-evaluate na ta og integral diri. Okay? So, apply the power rule for integration. So, we have minus 2 times u cubed over 3 plus u to the 5th over 5 plus c. So, this is equal to sine x minus 2/3. And then, substitute the value of our u, which is sine cube x plus 1/5. Substitute the value of our u, so we have sine to the 5th x plus c. And this is the final answer. Okay, question? Okay, may question. So, please kong screenshot. Done?
Yes, Miss.
Sige. Another practice. So, we have here integration of cosine to the 7x dx. Okay, so I will give you 10 minutes to solve this. So time check, it's 10:16. So balik ta at 10:26. Okay, done na students. Okay, so let's check. Okay, so nag-send na si Miss President. So we have here, ito i-check ha. Few. squared. Um, so the integration of cosine to the 7x dx. So we have cosine squared x to the cube times cosine x dx. Okay. So, nag-substitute sa we have cosine squared is equal to 1 minus sine squared x cube cosine x dx. In which, anhira siya correct, and then, ang the rest kay, dili siya correct. Okay? So, how about others? Nakasolve na? Okay. Okay, 1 minus 3 sine squared plus 3 cosine x dx minus 3 sine squared plus 3 sine to the fourth x minus sine to the 6. Okay, so derivative, so we have 3 u sine du u to the fourth, it's 3 u cube over 3 plus 3 fifth u to the 5 is 7. Okay, okay. So the first two, 4, 6, 8. So the first 8 line kay correct, but ang 9 ug 10 kay na siya error because of this. Here. This is 1 over 7. Sine to the 7x plus c. Okay, so let's solve. So this is equal. Okay, so this is equal to the integration of cosine to the 6x times cosine x dx. Okay, so here we have cosine x to the 6 is pwede na to siya i-write as cosine squared x cubed cosine x dx. Okay, so from here, so substitute the identity for cosine squared. So we have cosine squared x is 1 minus sine squared x to the cube cosine x dx. Now, so ato siyang i-expand. Okay? So naano siya yung formula class nga a plus b cube is a cube plus 3ab. 3a squared b plus 3ab squared plus b squared. So, naano siya kuan sa binomial? We have a plus b to the n is equal to the summation of n taken k, a to the n, b to the n minus k, where your k here is equal to 0 to n. Okay, so anha na siya na apply, in which our n here is cube. N is equal to 3. So, substitute. So, our A here is equal to 1. And then our B is minus sine squared x. Okay, so after we apply, so we have 1 minus sine squared x cube is equal to, so our A here is 1. So we have 1 cube plus 3. Our A here is 1, so 1 squared. And then our B is negative sine squared x plus 3 times our a here is 1 and then our b here is negative sine squared x to the power of 2 plus our b, so it's cube. Our b here is negative sine squared x to the power of 3. Okay, so simplify, we have this is equal to 1 minus, so this is minus 3 sine squared x. Here, so negative times negative is positive because of the square. So we have plus 3 sine to the fourth x because sine squared x times sine squared x is sine to the fourth x. And here we have a negative because the power is an odd. So we have negative times negative times negative. It's negative. And then sine squared x to the power of 3 is sine to the power of 6x. Okay, so we have here 1 minus 3 sine squared x plus 3 sine to the fourth x minus sine to the 6x times cosine x dx. Okay? So we have to distribute. We have this is equal to cosine x dx minus 3 integration of sine squared x cosine x dx plus 3 integration of sine to the fourth x cosine x dx minus the integration of sine to the 6x cosine x dx. Okay, now we can apply the power rule for integration. Okay, so I know, apply first the substitution, okay, and then apply the power rule. So we have here, we let u be equal to our sine x. Okay, so our du here is cosine x dx. Okay, so the integration of cos x, so pwede din siya mo direct, so we have sine x minus 3 integration of sine x, so we use substitution. So our sine x here is u, so we have u squared, and then cosine x dx is our du plus 3 integration of, so substitution, so we have u to the fourth, and then cosine x dx is du minus integration of u to the 6, and then the cosine x dx is our du plus c because we already evaluate integration of cosine x dx. Okay, so this is equal to sine x. So apply the power rule. So we have minus 3 u cubed over 3 plus 3. So we have u to the fifth over 5 minus u to the 7 over 7 plus c. Okay, now substitute the value of our u, which is equal to sine x. We have sine x minus, so our u is sine cube x plus 3 over 5 sine to the fifth x minus 1 over 7 sine to the 7x plus c. Okay? So, ito kung i-check kan dyan. Okay, so sine x, sine cube x plus 3/5. Okay? So, ang difference is ang kaning 1 over 7. Question? Students? Okay, so please go screenshot. Okay, so ang strategy for case 1 class ha. So, bilinan yung isa and then ang habilin mo to i-convert like if given is cosine, so i-convert na into sine and then expand. Na dayon after nimo mag-expand, so magamit ta og substitution and then power rule. Then we have the result. Okay, so please go screenshot. Done. Done, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So for case 2, may example isa. So at least one of the exponent, so ang kaning case 2 class is combination na siya of sine x, cosine x. And then, so at least one of the exponent m or n is a positive odd integer. So maura na iyahang need. So mangita mo asa ang naay power nga add integer. Okay, positive. Okay, so ang buhaton niya class is like example for number 1, if n is add, so naa sa sign ang add. So the idea is the same with case 1 nga murag mag-retain mo isa ka sin x. Okay? So mao ni siya no. And then ang nahabilin class kay i-convert siya into cosine. And then simplify. So mao na siya ang idea. Ang another is what if nasa cosine. So the same gihapon class, ang cosine magbilin mo isa in which mao ning cosine x dx. Ang nahabilin sa cosine i-convert into sine. And then simplify. So mao na ang case 2. So para masabtan, so let's have an example. So we have integration of sine cube x cosine squared x dx. Okay? So here, so atong i-check class kung asa ang naay add na exponent. Dapat positive. So here, so ang sign. So ang buhaton na tuan ni class is na magbilin tag isa ka sin x. So we have, so ang mabilin is sine squared x cosine squared x, and then we have sine x dx. Okay? So now, so ang sine squared x, i-convert na siya into cosine. So, in which, ang ma-apply gihapon to na tong cosine squared x plus sine squared x equals 1. So, this is, ang sine squared x is we have 1 minus cosine squared x times cosine squared x times sine x dx. Okay? So, simplify, we have 1 times cosine squared x times sine x dx. So, we have cosine squared x sine x dx. So, we have a negative here. So, cosine squared times cosine squared. So, we have cosine 4x and then sine x dx. Okay, now, so pwede na ta makagamit og substitution in which our u here is cosine x. So the du is negative sine x dx. Okay? So we have cosine squared is u squared by substitution, and then sine x dx is negative du because du is negative sine x dx. So minus integration of our cosine is u to the 4, and then our sine x is negative du. Okay, so simplify, we have a negative integration of u squared du. So we have a negative times negative, so we have a positive u to the fourth du. Now, we apply the power rule for integration. So we have negative u cubed over 3 plus u to the fifth over 5 plus c. So now, we substitute the value of our u, which is equal to cosine x. So we have negative cosine x cubed over 3 plus cosine x to the fifth over 5 plus c, or pwede na to i-write as negative cosine cube x. So we have 1/3 and then plus 1/5 cosine to the fifth x plus c. And this is the final answer. Okay, question? Wala question? Okay ha? So for case 2 class, same idea with case 1. Ang different kagad niya class is combination na siya of cosine and sine. Okay? So, i-check na ninyo kung asa ang na-add nga power. It should be positive. And then, so sa katong nga na-add, so kuhaan na ninyo ang isa na ang nahabilin nga pagkatangtang sa isa ka sa, like example na sa sine, ay i-convert to siya into cosine. So same case, kung naa sa cosine ang given, like example here, another, so we have sine squared x, and then sine to the fourth x. And we have cosine cube x dx. Okay, so like in any class, so pwede na to siya i-write as, so copy the sine to the fourth x. So bilin ta og isa ka cosine, so we have cosine squared x times cosine x dx. So now, ang cosine squared x, so ato na siya i-convert into sine. So we have sine to the fourth x. So we have 1 minus sine squared x kay cosine squared x plus sine squared x is equal to 1. Okay, times cosine x dx. Okay, so simplify, we have sine to the fourth x times cosine x minus, because of this, so we have sine to the fourth times sine squared, so we have sine to the 6x times cosine x dx. So here, we can use the substitutions. We let u be equal to sine x. So our du here is cosine x dx. Okay? So this is equal to the integration of sine to the fourth x. So this is u to the fourth. Ay, napatay dx diri ha. Dx. Kung na sa reason. Sine to the fourth dx. X dx minus sine to the 6x cosine x dx. Okay? So, cosine x dx is du, and then minus integration of, so this is u to the 6, and then cosine x dx is du. Okay, so apply the power rule for integration. So we have u to the fifth over 5 minus u to the 7th over 7 plus c. And then substitute the value of u. So we have 1/5 sine to the 7th x minus 1 over 7 sine, so this is 5, and then this is 7x plus c. Okay, so in which this is the final answer. Question. Next question. Okay, so please go screenshot. Okay, wala question na, so let's practice. Okay, so the integration. Okay, so the integration of sine to the fifth x times cosine squared x dx. So time check, it's 10:51. So balik ta at 11:01. Okay, so nanay answer si isa man ni H. Okay, so we have sine to the fifth x cosine squared x dx. So sine x, so 1 minus cosine squared x. Hindi siya correct. Sige. How about others? Sige, isa. Okay, so nainisense sa tong group chat sa ni si Jed. So let's check. We have no. Okay, so it's correct. So, mag-charge ako kadito ha. Wait. Okay, so from the technique, 9 and 7. Okay, so the technique here is find the kung asa nga uh, trigo ang naay add nga power. So here we have sine x. So kuha tag isa ka sine x. So we have sine to the fourth x cosine squared x times sine x dx. Next, so here, so ato ni siyang mangitatag way nga mahimo ni siyang cosine. So this one pwede na to i-write as cosine squared x to the power of 2. Ayun, it's sine. Sine squared x to the power of 2 times cosine squared x times sine x dx. Okay? So, sine squared x is equal to 1 minus cosine squared x to the power of 2 cosine squared x times sine x dx. Okay? So, this is equal to, so ato ni siya expand, so we have 1 minus 2 cosine squared x plus cosine to the fourth x times cosine squared x times sine x dx. Okay, so the sum or difference of integration is the integration of the sum and difference. So we apply here, so we have, so 1 times cosine squared x times sine x dx. So we have cosine squared x sine x dx. So minus 2 integration of, so cosine squared x times cosine squared x. So we have cosine to the fourth x sine x dx plus, so we have integration of cosine to the fourth times cosine squared. So we have cosine to the 6x sine x dx. Okay, so we let u be equal to cosine x. Du sa derivative of cosine is negative sine x dx. Okay, so balik ta ha. So we let u be equal to cosine x. So our du here is negative sine x dx. Okay, so this is equal to the integration. So cosine x, we have u squared. So by substitution, and then sine x dx is negative du because of this. Okay, so we have minus 2 integration of u to the fourth. So substitute the value of the cosine x by u, and then sine x dx is negative du plus the integration. So we have here, this is u to the 6, and sine x dx is negative du. Okay, so simplify that. Negative u squared du plus, because negative of negative, so we have positive. So we have positive 2 integration of u to the fourth du minus integration of u to the 6 du. Okay, so apply the power rule for integration. So we have negative u cubed over 3 plus 2 times u to the fifth over 5 minus u to the 7 over 7 plus c. Okay, so substitute the value of our u, which is equal to cosine x. So we have negative cosine cube x, so we have 1/3 plus 2/5 cosine to the 5th x minus 1/7 cosine to the 7th x plus c. And this is the final answer. Question. Like question, okay, please go screenshot. Okay, so what if kay ang given no kay both add. So if ing ana gani class kay mag-choose ra mo og isa. So same process. Done na. Class. Okay. So we have another case. So what if n and n are positive even integers? So unsa may buhaton. Okay, so dili na siya the same case sa 1 o 2 nga magkuha ra mo add na dayon i-convert siya, like example cosine, so i-convert to sine na magamit dayon o substitution and then power rule. But for the case 3, so lahi na siya nga case. So kung kabantay mo here, this is the property no nga ato ang gi-show pag last meeting. Kay magamit ni siya diri. Okay? So para masabtan, so we have the integration of sine squared x dx. Okay? So from here, kay magamit ta sa case 3 no. So sa ganito yung property class, we have sine squared x is equal to, ang sine is 1 minus cosine 2x over 2. And then, ang cosine squared x is 1 plus cosine 2x over 2. So, ang gamiton ani class kay i-apply ra ni nga identity. Okay, so we have here sine squared x is 1 minus cosine 2x over 2 dx. Okay, so simplify. So this equation can be written as, so we have 1/2 minus 1/2 cosine 2x dx, in which this is equal to, so we have 1/2 dx because 1/2 is a constant with respect to x, so we can move it. So pwede na siya mapagawa sa integral, and then we have minus 1/2 integration of cosine 2x dx. Okay, so this is 1/2 integration of dx is x minus 1/2. Okay, so we let u be equal to 2x. So our du here is 2 dx. Okay, so minus 1/2 cosine, our 2x is our u, and then ang dx is du over 2 plus c, because nag-evaluate na tao isa ka integral. So we have 1/2 x minus 1/4 integration of cosine u du plus c. Okay, so the integration of cosine u is equal to sine minus 1/4 sine u plus c, and then substitute the value of our u, which is 2x. And this is the final answer. Okay, question? Okay, so please kog screenshot. Okay. So another example. So what if fourth? Okay, so we have cosine to the fourth x dx. So ang buhaton na ni class is we have pwede na to siya write as cosine squared x to the power of 2 dx. Okay, so kung 6 ni, so cosine squared x to the power of 3. So kung 8, so cosine squared x to the power of 4. So now we substitute the identity for cosine squared x, which is 1 plus cosine 2x over 2 squared dx. Okay, so this is equal to, so expand, so we have 1 plus 2 cosine 2x plus cosine squared 2x over 4 dx. Okay, now, so this can be written as the integration. So ako ito sila. So we have 1/4 dx plus the integration. So 1/2. So because 2 over 4, integration of cosine 2x plus 1/4 integration of cosine 2x. Cosine squared 2x dx. Okay? So, integration of dx, so we have x plus 1/2. So, here, we let this as ru, so 2x, and then du is 2 dx. Okay? So, we have cosine u. Napari dx diri ha. Okay, so our dx here is du over 2 plus 1/4. So here class, so i-apply again the identity. So kung kabantay mo cosine squared 2x, nang ato ang identity is cosine squared x. So ang buhaton anak class, we have cosine squared 2x is equal to 1 plus cosine 2 times 2x over 2. So, kung unsa man gani inyong gi-substitute dire, so dapat the same pod sa another x. Okay? So, kung 3x ni siya, so we have 2 times 3x. So, this is equal to 1 plus cosine 4x over 2. Okay? So, the same sa na siya class sa cosine. Like, we have cosine squared x plus sine squared x is equal to 1. If this is 2x, so dapat ang naapod sa sign, it should be 2x para ma-equal sa 1. Kaya if this is x, it's not equal to 1. So dapat the same ni siya ang angle sa cosine o sine para mo-equal siya o 1. The same for this. So cosine squared 2x, so ato rin ang gisubstitutan ang x of 2x. So we have 1 plus cosine 4x over 2. So this is integration of 1 plus cosine 4x over 2 dx. Okay, so we have 1/4 x plus, so this is 1/4 integration of cosine mu du. 1/4 because 1/2 times 1/2 is 1/4 plus, so we have, so ato ni siyang this can be written as 1/8 integration of dx plus 1/8 integration of cosine 4x dx. Okay? So here we let u sub 1 be equal to 4x. Our du sub 1 is 4 times dx. Okay? So this is equal to 1/4 x plus 1/4 integration of cosine u du is sine u. So na natin ni plus sin. Okay? Plus 1 over a, and then integration of dx is x, plus 1 over a, integration of cosine 4x dx. So this is cosine u. So we have our u with the sub u sub 1, and then dx is d sub 1 du sub 1 over 4 plus c. Okay, so which is, this is equal to 1/4 x plus 1/4. So substitute the value of our u, which is 2x. So we have sine 2x plus 1 over 8x plus, so 1/8 times 1/4 is 1 over 32. Integration of cosine u sub 1 du sub 1 is sine u plus c. Okay, in which our u here is 4x. So we can combine 1/4 x of 1/8 x. So we have 1/8. So 8 divided 4 is 2. So times 1. So we have 3 over 8x plus 1/4 sine 2x plus 1 over 32 sine 4x. So this is sine u sub 1 plus c. Okay, so dili na ito makombine ha, ang sine 2x o sine 4x, in which this is the final answer. Question. You have question? Okay, so please go screenshot. Done? Okay.
Yes, Miss.
Another is, what if a product and then the power is a positive even integer. Okay. So the integration of cosine squared x sine squared x dx. Okay. So ang strategy ani class is you substitute the value of cosine squared x and substitute the value also for sine squared x, in which cosine squared x is 1 plus cosine 2x over 2 times our sine squared x is 1 minus cosine 2x over 2 dx. And simplify, we have, this is integration of, this is 1, so makancel lang yun, so we have 1 minus cosine squared 2x over 2 dx. Okay, so 1 times negative cosine 2x plus cosine 2x, so makancel lang na. So this is, so pwede na siya na ito ma-write as 1/2 integration of dx minus 1/2 integration of cosine squared 2x dx. Okay, so from here, apply again. So the same idea with here na ang x, so ilisa na itong 2x, so we have 1/2 integration of dx is x minus 1/2. We have integration of cosine squared 2x is 1 plus cosine 4x over 2 dx, in which So, pwede na ito ma-write as this is 1/4 integration of dx minus 1/4 integration of cosine 4x dx. Okay? So, we have plus c here, plus c because we already evaluate integration of dx. So, for here, we use a substitution. Okay, so we let u be equal to 4x. So, our du is 4 dx. Okay, so we have 1/2 x minus 1/4 integration of dx is x minus 1/4 integration of cosine 4x dx. So we use substitution. So we have cosine, the 4x is u, and dx is du over 4 plus c. Okay, so simplify, we have 1/2 x minus 1/4, so this is 1/4 x minus, so 4, so 1/4, so we have 1 over 16 because 1/4 times 1/4 is 1 over 16, integration of cosine mu du plus c. Okay, so we have 1/4 x minus 1 over 16, integration of cosine u du is sine u plus c, and substitute the value of our u, which is 4x. So we have 1/4 x minus 1 over 16 sine 4x plus c. And this is the final answer. Okay? Question. Wala question? Sige. Why question na? So we have here a practice. Okay, so this is 4. So I will give you 10 minutes. So time check, it's 11:31. So balik ta at 11:41. Resolve na, students? Hello? Saan natin? Bansa, wait. Okay, so ako na solve. So here, so magamit gihapon ta sa identities class. So this is equal to, so cosine, so pwede nito siya ma-write as cosine squared x to the 4th, and then sine squared x. Okay? So cosine squared x, so we have 1 plus cosine 2x over 2 squared times our sine squared x is 1 minus cosine 2x over 2 dx. Okay? So simplify, we have here, this is 1 plus 2 cosine 2x plus cosine squared 2x all over 4 times, so this is 1 minus cosine 2x over 2 dx. Okay, so simplify. So, mag-distribute ha. We have here, so 1 plus 2 cosine 2x plus cosine squared 2x. So, kung gihimo ha, kami. Here, kami, this one. Okay, next is ang cosine 2x. So we have minus cosine 2x. Minus cosine 2x times 2. So we have minus 2 cosine squared 2x. And here, we have minus cosine cube 2x. Okay? dx all over it. Okay, so simplify, we have integration of 1 plus, sama na ito makombine. So, kani, so, pwede na ito siya makombine, no? So, we have cosine 2x. And then this one, so, pwede na ito siya makombine. So, we have minus cosine squared 2x. Then we have minus cosine cube 2x dx over a. Okay, so we have here 1a integration of dx plus, so we have 1 over a integration of cosine 2x minus 1 over a integration of cosine squared 2x minus integration, so we have 1 over a integration of cosine cube 2x dx. Okay. So, magdili siya masud. So, please ako screenshot class. Ito na siya ibutang sa video. Okay na? Students? Okay, so ito na siya i-write.
Yes, Miss.
So, this is equal to 1 over a. So, continuation na siya ha. So, dx plus 1 over a integration of cosine 2x dx. So, we have dx here minus 1 over a integration of cosine squared 2x minus 1 over a integration of cosine cube 2x dx.
Oy, di man. Ma'am, nalagi mo bata na ma'am, nagkakatanta mo. Karon ay hindi mo palit siya ka ng anak, mo na ebidensya yung
Okay, so integration here, so we have 1a. The integration of dx is x. Okay, and here, so we let u be equal to 2x. Okay, so our du is 2dx. Okay, so we have 1 over a integration of cosine u, and then our dx here is du over 2. Okay, so ito sa erase. Okay, here minus 1 over a. So, i-apply ang katong cosine squared. Samantong cosine squared. Okay, so this is integration of 1 plus cosine 4x. So, na siya dx ha, over 2 dx minus 1 over 8. So, integration. So, here, ato ni siyang i-apply ang first nga rule. Katong ibuwag na. So, we have cosine squared 2x times cosine 2x dx. Okay? So, here, we have 1 over ax plus 1 over 16 because 1/8 times 1 now. So, we have integration of cosine u minus. Here, we have 1 over 16 integration of dx minus 1 over 16 integration of cosine 4x dx. Okay? So, minus 1 over 8 integration. So, cosine squared 2x, so pwede rin na to siya. We have cosine squared x plus sine squared x plus 1. So, substitute x by 2x, we have cosine squared 2x plus sine squared 2x is 1. Okay, so this is 1 minus sine squared 2x times cosine 2x dx. Okay, so we have 1 over 8x plus 1 over 16 integration of cosine u du is sine u minus, so 1 over 16, so integration of dx is x minus 1 over 16. So we let u sub 1 be equal to 4x. So our du sub 1 is 4 dx. Okay, so the integration of cosine 4 dx is cosine u, and dx na to is du over 4 minus. So we have here 1/8 integration of cosine 2x dx. So we have negative times negative, so we have positive 1 over 8 integration of sine squared 2x and then cosine 2x dx. Okay, so this is equal to 1 over 8x plus 1 over 16. So sine, so we have our u here, which is equal to 2x, so minus 1 over 16x minus 16 times 4, we have 64. So integration of cosine u du is sine u minus 1a integration, so let u, ano na tayo 2x, ay wala pa dito. Adara. So we have cosine u, and then our dx is du over 2. So kanihang ito raning gigamit, i-recycle. Okay, so plus 1 over 8. So we have u sub 1, so we let u sub 2 be equal to, so here, ang u sub 2 is sine 2x. Okay? Our du sub 2 is the derivative of sine 2x is cosine 2x times u prime, which is 2. So we have, this is integration, so sine 2x is u, so u sub 2 squared, and cosine 2x dx is du sub 2 over 2. So nanan siya plus sino, kay we already evaluated uh, integration of dx.